Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Capital City Sports Talk. Please put your hands together for Matt and Tom. Good afternoon, Columbia. I'm Matt Moore.
I'm Tom Benning.
And you're listening to Capital City Sports Talk. Soon enough, we will have head coach of the volleyball team, Nancy Samara, in the studio talking volleyball and talking some more different sports. We've had her on, and she's a good interview, so we're looking forward to that. And later in the show, Stephen Fassenow of the Anderson Independent will be on with us. So we've got a pretty good lineup, wouldn't you say?
I would agree, definitely.
All right.
We're going to talk pretty much everything. It's a little bit different this week since we don't have a Carolina football game. Or really, we do have some good college football games, but it's definitely a lighter week than usual, I guess, with fall break and things like that. And we've just had our first appearance from our statistician, a.k.a. Jake Broom, and he's already updating me on the 2006 Gamecock Challenge, which we will get to later in the show.
But I actually talked to Jake earlier today, and he said he was looking forward to the show. So
that's always good to hear.
Yeah, I'm always glad to hear it from Jake.
But yeah, we're gonna talk pretty much everything: NHL, Major League Baseball, NFL, pretty much everything you could ever think of. A little bit of college basketball, and I guess we can go ahead and get into that with our Carolina Sports Report. I don't know if you all read today's Daily Gamecock today, but Alex Riley had an article on the strongman competition that the USC basketball team participated in last Friday. Our producer, Jonathan Hilliard, was there, got some pretty sweet video, produced a nice little package for us. So, Matt, you want to go ahead and run that?
Yeah, we've got a good clip of what Trey Kelly had to say about the upcoming season and what was going on for this workout, and his practice is coming up. So let's see what he had to say.
Hey guys, we're here with senior point guard Trey Kelly. Man, it seems like just yesterday, freshman coming in, backing up Mike Boynton. How's it feel to be a big man on campus now?
I don't know if I'm the big man on campus yet. I done did some things here that everybody done made me proud. Everybody's been proud of, but it feels good to be the starting point guard and be able to lead these guys, to victories, two straight NIT championships. I feel good about that as being the starting point guard on both of those teams. But we still have some work to do. We still have to come in and work hard like we're doing today. Practice hasn't started yet, so we're gonna get ready. Come next Saturday when we wake up at 6 in the morning for that first practice.
So just talk about a little bit what kind of benefit you guys are getting out of coming out of here. I guess it's once a week out here at 6 a.m. and busting your butts out there on this field. What kind of stuff you guys getting out of this?
The obvious thing is the leg strength. We're working very hard walking up the steps. We're carrying a lot of weight on our backs while we're walking, and that builds up a lot of leg strength. But on the other hand, it's a lot of toughness being built up. Within these guys, the new guys have never been through this. Even I've never been through this, but I know what it feels like to come in and do NCAA basketball college work, as far as in the weight room, conditioning and stuff like that. So it builds up a lot of toughness, and you have to compete with yourself, when you're out here because, when you're getting tired, your legs getting tired, you have to keep pushing.
You guys look like you're building up a pretty good rapport with the new guys out here, trying to, get in the trenches a little bit and just make them feel welcome.
Definitely, we have to because, if they come in and they don't feel welcome, they won't work as hard. When they come in and, we welcome them on and, encourage them a lot, encourage them as much as we can, and to help them focus. That helps them. That helps them learn. When we teach these young guys when they don't know, that gives them encouragement because we're helping them learn, and they learn it from older guys that have been here.
I gotta ask you, Trey, why'd you have to go abusing Brandis on the tug of war?
He got me the first week. They say he got me the first week. I didn't think he did, but I got him the second week, and I had to come back strong today for the last one and let him know who's here.
All right, man. Prediction. What are you guys looking like this season? How you feel about it?
I'm gonna lead these guys to an NCAA tournament appearance. That's what I want to do, and that's my goal for this year. Whether we, I don't know what we'll do during the season and things like that, but we'll work hard, every game, and I'll make sure I do that. I'll make sure I lead these guys so they work hard every game and every practice so we get to an NCAA tournament because, that's my goal. I don't want two NIT championships. There's no more winning to do up in New York. So you have to find us an NCAA appearance somewhere.
Trey, appreciate it.
No problem.
Back to you guys.
That was Jonathan Hilliard with point guard Trey Kelly of the South Carolina Gamecocks after during their morning workout. Yeah, Jonathan was over there. What you got for us, Jonathan?
Yeah, I mean, it was just taking a look at kind of the off-season conditioning and strength training they're doing. I actually spoke with the trainer, Matt Jennings, and he said that they're doing a lot different this year, a lot more lifting. And as you could see on SGTV, if you were watching it, they're doing a lot of keg lifts, sled pushes, all kinds of things. And
Tire
I just wanted to get you guys' opinion. When I did the interview, I got the impression that Trey Kelly's grown up an awful lot. He sounded a lot more confident than we've heard Trey Kelly in the past.
Well, I think he grew up a lot even just last year. Towards the end of the season, I remember when I was covering the SEC tournament, Coach Odom was talking about before that game against Florida. He was saying to the whole team, Coach Odom that is, was saying to the whole team, we're going to do everything we can to win the game, but just in case, if we do lose, I want you guys to stay out on the court. And Trey was just like, Coach, we're not losing this game. And Coach Odom was like, no, I know, but we have to have a backup plan. Just like if we go out in man-to-man and that's not working, we have to have a zone defense, as a second option. And apparently Trey was just like, Coach, we're not losing this game.
And you guys heard in the interview, he said, I'm taking this team to an NCAA tournament.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, he didn't say, my goal is, I really want to take this team to an NCAA tournament. He said, I'm taking this team to an NCAA tournament. So that's what you want out of your point guard. And Brandon Wallace also pretty much said the same thing. So you got some good senior leadership on this team, if nothing else.
Yeah, I'm really ready to see what Trey can do because it just seemed like all season, confidence was a huge thing, but just getting better and better all season and becoming more of a leader. I was really impressed with. So.
Is it safe to say that if he's not all SEC this season, it's a disappointment?
Well,
first, second, or third team. I mean,
I don't think he'll be first team. There's a lot of good point guards, good guards in the SEC, but I think he'll definitely be the MVP of our team.
Well,
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
You lose Rondo at Kentucky, and you lose Watson at Tennessee, but you still have, I guess, Torian Green at Florida. But after that,
you got the guy at LSU.
Yeah,
I can't think of his
Mitchell.
name. Right.
Yeah. Daryl Mitchell.
Wait, no. He graduated, but somebody else who was I don't know. Somebody who was a starter 2 years ago or something who's really good.
But, with his ball handling skills and the way he is apparently set to lead this team, I think anything less than second or third team All-SEC is probably a disappointment for him.
I can see that.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what he's shooting for, too. He wants to be a leader for the team and in the conference. He wants to – because you saw what happened in the SEC tournament, especially Tom being there. Nobody gave South Carolina a chance to win a game, and they went out there and behind Trey Kelly and some things like that really proved themselves, I think. So
the way they played in the SEC tournament and the NIT tournament, every night they had a chance to play with anybody in the country. The way they played in those two tournaments. Just look at the Kentuckys, the Floridas. You go and you play the eventual national champion down to that was really the closest game they had all postseason. When you look at it. So, obviously you lose Balkman and that you lose a lot of intensity and rebounding and inside play there. But other than that, you got a lot of the same team. You lose Trice as well. But if Trey can have, as good a season, if not better than he did last year, I think they've got a good point guard as a foundation there.
Well,
I agree.
I think Brandon, hopefully this is what they're aiming to do with this type of strongman competition. But Brandon Wallace, it's probably been his downfall his whole career is just that he's not – it's not that he's not trying hard. It's just that he doesn't have that bulk. So if he can just get a little bit of weight, it just seems like he could be so dominant at times if he just got a little bit of weight because he's so athletic. He can jump out the gym, great shot blocker, good rebounder, and all. He has all the capabilities. He just gets, thrown around by somebody like Glenn Davis or something like that.
And it's not even necessarily weight; it's just pure strength.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that is what they're trying to get at here in this offseason with the strongman competitions and all the weight training they've been doing is just trying to make these guys stronger. You've got a lot of real skinny guys. Dominic Archie's another guy that's got a small frame on him, a skinny frame, not height-wise, but he's just trying to build up that bulk in these guys so they can play in the SEC.
Yeah, I agree. I look forward to it. I can't wait to see what Dominic Archie can bring to the table because we didn't get to see him last year.
Right.
And anybody who's at the USC Aiken game saw him almost throw down a pretty insane dunk, but he missed. I mean, just the simple fact he can jump out of the building.
Absolutely.
And so that should be pretty exciting with Brandon down low and Trey running things. So
Well, you'll get a chance to see all these guys early and see what they can do because they're not playing a cupcake non-conference schedule this year. They've got Kansas at home. They go to Southern Cal, and just have a lot of games that you're not going to waltz through,
right?
Especially being South Carolina. I mean, you're going to have some tough games early on in the schedule, and I think that's going to help this young team.
Yeah, I look forward to it. That's coming soon enough. We're going to go to a break and hopefully get Coach Samara in here. If not, we'll talk some more headlines from around the country and get into some other things. So we'll be right back.
It's only right for you to walk away from me. Never look at me again. You deserve so much more than I.
We've been joined by head volleyball coach Nancy Samara. Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Good, thanks.
I guess we'll jump right into volleyball first. Sitting at 3-5 in the conference. You're still in the hunt. There's still what really needs to happen in the short term as far as winning games? Like, do you need to go on a streak of just winning out, or what do you see really need to happen in these next couple weeks?
Well, we definitely need to start winning a little bit more than we have the last couple of weeks, but I don't think winning out is what we need to be gaining or going for. We have the last two matches of the first round of SEC because this is the first year that we're playing a double round robin. And so we have a chance to finish first round 5-5, and then we head into our last 11 matches of the season. We play everybody again. So I think we need to do a little better than 5-5 the second round. Maybe, if we're trying to get an NC2A tournament bid consideration, maybe you need to be 6-4. I don't know. You just don't know. It's a really competitive conference this year, and teams are beating everybody all over the place. So that's either good for our conference and a lot of teams get in, or it's bad for our conference and only a few teams get in.
Yeah, I saw that there were 3-5 teams in the West and a 4-4 team, and then another 4-4 team in the East, and so it's just real tight right now in the SEC. Yeah,
you've got a lot of, teams beating ranked teams, and I think the SEC conference in volleyball in the past has maybe not been considered as a strong conference, but it is a lot stronger than people realize. And I hope that that's reflected at the end of the year in the NC2A tournament.
Seems like you've kind of had a real up and down season. You upset Florida in just an incredible upset, and then you maybe drop a couple of games, then you win one, and then it just been up and down. What has been the problem there? Just lack of consistency turning into a lack of consistency in winning? Is that what was going on? Or?
Yeah, I couldn't say it better myself. I mean, we just are not a very consistent team, and some of that is we're pretty young out there in a lot of positions. I mean, there are times when we have 3 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and, 1 or 2 seniors. And so, Shonda Cole has been incredible for us. But, she's going to have nights where, if we can't win unless she gets 35 kills, then, that's unrealistic to expect somebody to do that every outing. And she's, leading the nation in 30-plus kill matches for the season. So, she's doing her part. And but we just are, yes, not a consistent team in all areas. And you're going to have up and down results when you play inconsistently.
You mentioned Shonda, and she's sitting at 6 kills a game, which is incredible. She's leading the conference. She's got to be in the top 3 in the country. She was at first at one point at 6.02, I think. Does anybody ever really get caught up in that, like in her personal, especially Shonda? Do you ever see her get caught up in that, or is she still really focused on winning these games and not as worried about the All SEC and the All American. Because we've talked about that. Like the first time y'all were in here, one of her goals was to be first team All SEC. So what do you see out of her?
I mean, Shonda has her personal goals, like every great competitor is going to.
Right.
But she also, this also at times for her is, kind of a cross to bear, because she is by nature a very unselfish person. And so, when she sees all this, not all the sets, but, the lion's share of sets, she knows that some of her teammates aren't getting some of those sets. And so, but that's how it goes. You're going to ride your go-to player. And, while other people kind of keep working to contribute in their areas, we're going to go to her.
Have you ever had a player like her before where she could just carry the team? I mean, you had some great success at Oregon State before you came here, but have you ever had someone so dominant on your team?
Well, I've been fortunate to coach at, Southern California and then Oregon State, and so I've coached All-Americans. But no, I've never had a player on a team that could do what she does just on her own. I mean, on her own is not the right word, but other teams that I've coached with All-Americans had 2 or 3 other All-Americans on the team with them.
Right.
So it was a much harder puzzle for the opponent to figure out. Right now, because of inconsistency at times, we're not that difficult of a puzzle. It's 50-50 chance it's going to Shonda Cole.
Right.
So from a defensive standpoint, it's not a lot of thinking that has to occur out there. We're not catching a whole lot of defenses off guard. It's pretty much where the ball's going a lot of the time. And that's okay. You can win championships that way. Some teams are very good because their distribution is very even. And you're playing that cat and mouse game as a defense. And some teams are very good because they have a special player who can put the ball away and hit for a lot of kills and really high efficiency. Make very few errors. And, that's the name of the game with the rally scoring is score points and don't make errors to give up points. And so, I think that's where we are as a team is we're making a little bit too many errors that give the opponent.
All right.
Well, how's the cockpit been going? I know you were real excited about that at the beginning of the season. How's that turning out so far?
Well, funny you should ask, because we were just talking about that in the office today, and we realized that we've been home 1 match out of the last 6. So, and that was on a Sunday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So prior to that, though, we had at the Auburn match, our Friday night match, which was our last Friday night home game. It was great. Mm-hmm. And, I hope that everybody isn't too wrapped up in midterms and, what's going on with football and all that, to remember to get out and support the volleyball team, because we really could use it. And being back at home this weekend in front of a home crowd and playing well is exactly what our team needs to get back on track. So, sometimes that crowd can really just give you that extra burst of energy that's required to get over the hump and score some points and, kind of be the seventh man per se.
Mm-hmm.
Well, talk about playing at home and having that crowd. You've played in some close games, especially like a great game against Florida and things like that, big upsets. But also, I mean, the home field doesn't always do it for you. And we saw that with football with Auburn, and it was a great game. And actually, this is more of a coaching question than a volleyball question. Coach Spurrier talked about how the fans shouldn't settle if the team loses, and they shouldn't cheer a losing team. I'm just kind of wondering, from your point of view, if the girls go out and play an incredible match but lose to a team like Florida or a top-ranked team, what do you want from the fans in that instance? Do you want them to cheer because they played hard, or do you want them to be a little bit unhappy because they lost? Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I was at that football game and was, as a fan, really excited about the way the guys played. But as a coach, as soon as the game ended, I thought to myself, yes, that's great, but it's still a loss. And, you know, I think as a coach, when you're trying to build a winning tradition, and that's, you know, it's what we're trying to do. It's what Coach Spurrier is trying to do. The quality of effort is something that is expected every day, whether it's the practice gym or the practice field. I mean, that's the only way you know how to play your sport. And the winning, although you can't build a winning program in saying that we expect to win before a team knows how to win, but that is what you are striving for. So,
Right.
Sure, for me as a coach, I mean, I don't want fans to ever feel like we don't work hard out there. So, you know, if they, in their own way and support, want to congratulate us for a good effort, then, you know, I'm okay with that. But from a coaching standpoint, that's what should be there all the time.
Right.
And, you know, you want that effort is what is going to give you the wins down the road. And so, you know, I can see where Coach Spurrier is coming from. And, but, you know, it was a good game. It was an awesome game
Yeah.
as a fan.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Well, last time you were on, actually, I probably wasn't on air. Just as you were leaving, you said that you'd love to stick around for a little while and talk some other sports.
Sure.
So I'm gonna throw some questions at you.
Okay.
And if you haven't had time to catch up on something, you're more than welcome to pass. But
Okay.
we were actually just talking about the NFL when you came in, and right now, Chicago and Indianapolis are the undefeated teams. Are those two teams, how are they looking in the NFL, or do you have a different Super Bowl pick that you want to throw out at us? Who do you like in the NFL?
Well, I'm not a complete NFL fan. I'm more of a college sports fan, but
Okay.
I do sort of follow, you know, what's being said about teams and, you know, watch when I can. You know, in terms of the Super Bowl pick, I don't know. I think just my opinion on those two teams is that with Indiana, you have great leadership, and you cannot win without great leadership. I mean, I don't think that's any, you know, words of wisdom that, you know, sports fans out there. But it really does make a difference because the great leaders will get a team to not, you know, they don't get the team to do the stuff that everybody knows how to do or when it's easy to do it. They can get their teams to do what needs to be done when it's really hard to do. And, you know, that's what builds, you know, that's how you win championships. And it's my understanding, I haven't seen Chicago play, but just kind of hearing and reading and that they are just super consistent.
Yeah, especially on defense.
Well, yeah, and I mean, defensively, they are just really hard to beat. And so it'll be interesting to see if, in the end, defense wins. Because I'm kind of one of those defensive – I mean, I'm one of those defensive-minded coaches. I think defense is the heart of your team. And I know in football you don't have – you know, you don't play both ways. I mean, you have your defense and you have your offense, you know, but in my sport, you have to do both. You have to play offense and defense, and it's kind of that defense is that everybody likes to go up and put a ball to the wood, hit a, you know, kill a ball, hit a ball, but there's something about that competitive nature that comes out with defense when you steal a kill from the other team, when you prevent the scoring of the other team. It's just that kind of gritty competitiveness that also is what champions are made of.
Right. Well, I guess you said you're a college sports fan, so, and you also said you coached at USC. So, are you a Trojans fan, or where do you come down in the college football world?
Well, I'm a definite Trojan fan. I mean, I'm an alumni of that
Okay.
program. That's where I played volleyball, and in fact, my father was a Trojan, and so go way back. I grew up fight on, you know. But yes, I know. But they, have had a couple close games here.
Yeah, definitely.
And, the Washington game this last weekend came down to the wire. And from kind of a personal connection there, haven't been able to talk to the offensive coordinator at Washington, but is a good friend of mine, Tim Rapano. He was at Oregon State when we were there. And I know he's still probably dying that they didn't get that playoff at the end, because he's up in the booth. There isn't anything that he can do about it. But, I mean, the what-ifs that run through your head if you do get the playoff, and that's sports.
Yeah.
That's why you play the games, because those what-ifs need to be played out.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So you get a rub it in his face a little bit, or is it going to be more friendly?
No, hey, I'm really fired up for them. I mean, hey, that Washington program, I mean, talk about one that was on the top and went down to the bottom and is now kind of making a surge again. You're always and I know there's a lot of fans out there, and I hope a lot of people are listening, because we're trying to get people to come to the volleyball matches.
Exactly.
But, I don't know that most fans really understand how difficult it is to coach. I mean, it is a tough job to coach at the collegiate level, and to, rely on the average college student, because I mean, that's our players, they're just college students too.
Exactly.
To always make the right decision, to be ready to, this is the time of your life where you grow up and you learn from making mistakes on and off the field, so when you have coaching friends or coaching allies out there who have success, you are really happy for them.
Yeah. Well, we're going to change gears a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to go to a different sport. We're going to go to, I don't know, do you watch much golf?
I do.
All right. Well, then you probably know that Tiger Woods has won 6 straight PGA Tour events that he's played in.
Yep.
And he plans on playing at the Disney next week. Is there anyone in the world of golf that can beat Tiger Woods?
I mean, yes. Because like I said earlier, that's why you play the game. If you just went by statistics, then, there'd never be any upsets and we'd have no fans, because that's what everybody is out there waiting for, that big upset. But he is incredible to watch when he is on. And when he is on, I even think some of the best golfers in the world who might be able to beat him, they even know it is a long shot to beat him. And I think there's a lot of good young golfers out there. I don't know who else is in the field for this week.
Right,
if
yeah,
it's
I don't know.
on,
It's not a big field just because it's not a huge tournament.
Right.
But actually, the next tournament he'll play in after that will be the PGA Tour Championship, like basically the 5th major. So that'll be more of a test for it. He'll probably win this weekend, and but yeah, he'll have a much tougher task in the PGA Tour Championship.
I mean, I still think 6 straight is just incredible.
Yeah. We were talking last week about how if there was a more impressive streak in sports, so
Because so much has to go right to
Exactly.
win a golf tournament. It's 4 days of not blowing it ever.
pretty much.
exactly.
Talk about consistency. I mean, that's 6 straight tournaments of very consistent play at the highest level. And, you know, that's not easy to do.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I guess we appreciate you coming down here, and just remind everybody when your all's next game is, what time, so they can go down and cheer the Gamecocks on.
Yeah, we play Friday night, and there actually is a match time change because Friday night is also the hardwood hoopla.
Right.
Oh,
Is that what
okay.
it's hoopla
Yeah,
hardwood
yeah,
or
you
hardwood
got it.
hoopla? Okay. And so our match is at 6, and then that's followed up with the men's and women's basketball. So, you know, come to the volleyball game, get a seat for the hardwood hoopla, and, you know, help us cheer our team on to victory against Ole Miss. And then Sunday at 1:30 is an opportunity for us to really showcase USC volleyball because we are the Fox match of the week.
Oh, wow.
And so we
All
are going
right.
to be on television that week. And so, you know, the way I see those televised matches is it's a, you know, 2-hour commercial for USC and USC volleyball in particular.
Exactly.
So it's really, you know, it'd be great to pack the house in so that recruits who watch that match on Fox can see that, you know, volleyball is it's fun here at USC, and the crowd gets into it, and it's well supported. So
Yeah, that sounds great. And we really thank you for coming on. Hopefully you can come on after this weekend sometime and talk about 2 more wins. And,
well, hey, I think it was the week of the Florida match that we
There
came
you
in here.
go.
So, you know, maybe there's something to the
Little-
little gotta like little rub something on my way out or something like that.
Exactly. A little Capital City Sports Talk magic.
Right, there we go. All
All
right,
right.
thanks guys.
Well, we're going to go to a break. You're listening to Capital City Sports Talk, and we'll be right back.
Hi everybody, I'm Drew Zalitas, and are you sick of all these dull, rusty knives? Yeah! And are you sick of these crazy kitchen utensils no one can figure out how to use? Yeah! And are you sick of the muck and the grime sticking all over your cookie sheets? Yeah! Well then, do I have a product for you. It's the all-new Your Show on SGTV. Every Tuesday at 8:30, we put brand new films made by students right here on USC onto TV for all of you to watch. Now, is that going to knock the crap out or what? Yeah! All new Your Show every Tuesday at 8:30. Yeah!
Welcome back to Capital City Sports Talk. I'm Matt Moore.
I'm Tom Benning.
It is 5:04 here in the WSC studio. You're listening to Capital City Sports Talk just like every Tuesday from 4 to 6. You can catch our 1-hour show on SGTV on Thursdays at 8 o'clock. If you want to contact us, give us a call at 803-576-9872. That's 803-576-WUSC. Or you can talk to Tom on the internet at WSC On Air if he can actually compose himself to do anything on this radio show ever. You
Thank
all right?
I'm good, man. As long as Fast Snow doesn't lick the microphone again.
I can't take this. Oh, my goodness. I'm about to quit my job. All right, Steven.
We have Stephen
Um,
Fastnow of the Anderson Independent Mail in studio.
You might not want to mention them again. They're really just going to take a hit for this. Their circulation might drop by 50%.
I don't know. When we have guys from the State and the Herald, they enjoy this and get something out of it.
Hey,
Are you
I-
going to be okay, Steven?
Man, I enjoy this. I appreciate y'all having me on for real. Thanks.
All right.
All right.
No problem. We're glad to have you.
I guess we're just going to jump into some college football.
Yeah.
Um,
Reactions from last week first?
Are you talking to me?
yeah.
Uh,
You,
I
you're
guess
you're
I'm
our
your
marquee guy
expert.
right here.
Okay, I got you. Well, I mean, obviously it was an SEC win, but you know, y'all already touched on most of it. Spurrier wasn't pleased, and I think it's funny. A columnist for a Lexington paper wrote about the difference between Spurrier's locker room and Coach Brooks' locker room, and how Brooks had lost, and he said, you know, well, we did some good things. It's okay, we'll be better. And Spurrier had won and said, we didn't do anything good, you know, and this is where we want to be. So I just think that shows his commitment to the program, and I mean, they're on the right track. Obviously, like he says, they don't have the players right now, but
I'm going to interrupt you real fast because you just mentioned Spurrier's conference, and we've got a recording of that. So we're going to
go for it.
just take a listen to what Spurrier had to say after the game.
It's great theater.
it was pitiful. It was sad watching our secondary play and watching our pass rush at the end of the game. It was really sad. And I told the defensive guys and told the team, we'll put 3 wide receivers back there and let them play 3 deep when we get the lead from now on if we're that bad. But that was embarrassing that we let those guys just go up and down the field in the last 4 minutes of the game. Fortunately, we made a couple of first downs and sort of got screwed up and left them with 20 seconds, and they got a throw to the end zone. They got a throw to the end zone with 20 seconds with 80 yards or 75 yards to go, where it was. So it's sad. We're still South Carolina. We still can't shake being a South Carolina team that don't know how to win. That's sad to say, but I don't know if this has happened in the past, but I'm not used to it happening in teams I'm coaching. Get a 2-touchdown lead and almost just say, come on back, boys, and hopefully we can hold on and edge you out. That's almost was the attitude of a bunch of our defensive guys. So, we won the game. A lot of guys played their hearts out. Corey Boyd, Savell, a lot of those offensive linemen, I think, played pretty well. And we did some things to win the game. And but it was the end was sad. It was sad. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed about it, but that's the way it happened. And Coach Nix is embarrassed about it. We thought we taught him how to play 3 deep, and I don't know if any of them were deep. We had to punt twice because the officials gave us some nice penalties that nobody in the ballpark could see, but I'm sure we committed those. But that's stopped a couple of drives. And then Kentucky played us tough. They got in the game. Their fans got into it with the penalties in the 4th and 2. Another dumb play by South Carolina, 17-0. They're putting it midfield, and we got about 10 guys running backwards. Sad the way we play special teams right now. But anyway, heck, we won. I guess I ought to be happy, but I don't like endings like this.
That was head ball coach Steve Spurrier after the game. Basically he was pretty blunt.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he sat down and just unleashed that, and everybody in the place was shocked. They expected the normal, we fought hard and we about lost it, but we got out of it. But he just wasn't, he's not satisfied with that effort apparently, as you heard.
Yeah, and really, if he's gonna say that we need to perform better against Auburn, or we could have won that game, should have won that game, and call out the fans, I guess he just kind of stayed right on his line of thought by saying we shouldn't be settling for things like that. Right.
I mean, he's shown consistency, attack the fans. Everybody thought that was a excellent game for Spurrier. It's another loss, so he's not into losses, I don't think.
No, I don't think he enjoys those.
All right. Well, I guess the other part of the press conference, which we'll play, which was probably another great surprise if everybody wasn't surprised already, was when he called Coach Ron Cooper, the secondary coach, into the press room and proceeded to do a little interviewing of his own.
Oh, it's sad. The ending was sad. You guys know it was sad. What are they thinking? What are those secondary guys thinking back there?
You said it was a 3D.
I think it was supposed to be, but obviously it wasn't. I mean, they just no regard for keeping everything in front of them. That's football, junior high. When you get a lead, you keep everybody in front of you. But no, we don't worry about that. I guess I don't know what it was. You'll have to ask the secondary coach, Coach Cooper, be in here. Get him in here. Let him interview him for a while. Yeah, bring him in. I need to know what happened too. Coach Coop.
Yes, sir.
They won't know what coverage we were in on the 62-yarder.
3 deep.
3 deep?
3 deep, had a bust by the left corner and the left nickel.
And the middle guy wasn't real deep either.
Middle guy wasn't real deep, had a bust. Yes,
had
sir.
a bust there.
Played good, except for that one play, and that one play
How about the 22-second play, what we just didn't prevent, right?
In prevent, yes, sir.
And everybody ran right at him and got cut back?
Cut back, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep, we're in 3 deep.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just had some busts. Our guys don't have any regard for protecting the lead right now, do they?
That's right, should have.
They don't know that that's important.
Should have been in deep
Yeah,
third.
Carlos said I had that 10-yard out, Coach.
He should have been back in the deep third.
Yep.
He don't have it.
Said, man, I had that 10-yard out covered, though.
Yep, he should have.
That again was Steve Spurrier after the team's 7-point win over Kentucky. Really, just not very happy. Just not a happy guy in that little press conference.
No, that was one of the wilder scenes I've ever seen in the locker room in my very short career in locker rooms. But what they said.
Well put.
I mean, but, some of the other guys that have been there for, 20 years said the same thing, so it's not just me. But I think what came out afterwards was it wasn't such an ultimatum to, Ron Cooper. He wasn't as mad at Cooper per se than he was the players. And, Cooper said he took responsibility, but really, like I said, it was Carlos Thomas wasn't playing his assignment, and Ty Irving back there at safety wasn't doing his job. And so this week, he's mentioned some really radical things, like putting Sidney Rice back there.
Right.
What do you think about that? Do you think that's a good decision?
I mean, whatever he thinks. I mean, sure, Sidney Rice could run around and catch the ball, but I'm not sure if he has the defensive presence to do anything. I mean, he can't do any worse, obviously, than
That's true.
Whatever they did last week. But Cooper said they practiced that in the preseason, so it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I saw that.
Interesting to see. I'm not sure if they'll ever get in another situation where they need a prevent defense, except maybe for Middle Tennessee. But we'll see.
Knock on wood, right?
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, so we got a bye week this week, and then we're going to talk about Vanderbilt a lot next week. But do we get anything out of a bye week right now, or should we just be playing more football?
No, I think we probably get a lot. I like saying we. I've been become so numbed down by hanging out with all the other writers, but yeah, they'll probably be a lot better off. Andy Boyd has come back from an injury this week. Emmanuel Cook should be ready back there in the defensive backfield, which obviously they need some help back there. So, and Spurrier said he's going to try out some new guys. He also mentioned putting Stanley Dowdy at offensive guard in short yardage situations. Yes, this is what he said yesterday.
Wow.
So I'm not sure how that'll play out, but he's bigger. He's obviously bigger than the offensive lineman.
No doubt about that.
He's a big boy.
He can move some bodies down there, I guess, is the thinking.
I guess that's the plan. I mean,
yeah,
that's the idea.
Basically, he said he wants to give some guys a shot that haven't had a chance to play. He said yesterday he's still looking for his best players, which seemed kind of odd to me, being the 6th game of the season, to not know who your best players are. But he's still looking, and he said they'll probably scrimmage either today or tomorrow and give some of the younger guys a chance to play.
What do you think are reasonable expectations for the rest of this season?
Reasonable expectations, I mean, I would see, first of all, it's getting bowl eligible. With a game against Vandy, a game against Middle Tennessee, that's 2 more wins to be bowl eligible. Other ones are kind of toss-ups right now. You couldn't predict. I mean, I can't predict a win in any other ones. You got Clemson, Florida, at Florida. Tennessee at home would probably be our best shot at
Arkansas, too.
That 7 win. We got Arkansas too. So, it's realistic. 8 wins would certainly be a good season, and I think that's probably what Spurrier's goal is in the back of his mind right now, just to try to one-up himself over last year. But we'll see how it plays out.
This is the kind of immaturity and unprofessionalism that was associated with the SGTV years ago. And it's not going to happen again. I will take away keys. Okay, this is not funny.
Hey, Drew.
Why are you smiling? This is not funny. This is a waste of student television fees.
We paid for it.
Out of your own money, you paid for this.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, what about the air?
The air?
Yes, the air that costs money. I was away doing a good TV show, and you guys come in here and f*** up my office. If it's not cleaned up by 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to come back and take pictures, and there's going to be hell to pay.
Did you get all that? Every second. Good.
I wasn't mad. Come on, guys. I was pretending to be mad.
See you on VH1, asshole.
Come on, guys. Oh, f*** me.
Tom, what do you thought about last week as far as the rest of the country went?
Sure. Oh, I mean, we got Alex Riley in studio.
Oh, yeah. Sports editor of the Daily Gamecock. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You had that one.
Yeah, I got it.
My bad.
You just think you run stuff up here, but not
you
really.
You go through DJ training, big guy. Keep going.
That's a good point.
Just talk.
All right, so Riley, you weren't at the Kentucky game. You got a nice little break, but I'm sure you took in a number of other college football games. What were some of your general impressions of of this weekend?
Well, I mean, obviously everybody knows the biggest upset of the weekend was, Arkansas over Auburn, which was phenomenal in the SEC West. The West is slowly becoming the more dominant of the two conferences, with LSU rising. Alabama had a rising last year. Arkansas is coming around, and Auburn, has been on top the last couple of years. So for Arkansas to march into Auburn, Alabama, and to come out with as lopsided a victory as they did, I think it'll go down as the upset of the year, no doubt. I mean, sure, it took a little bit of offensive pass interference from Marcus Monk, and it took a little trick play, to get some stuff going on. But to still come out with a win, I think Houston Nutt, everybody was a couple years ago, he was on the hot seat for, we got to fire this guy and get somebody else, and all of a sudden they jumped from unranked without anybody getting any votes to number 17 in the polls. They've beaten the number 2 team in the country, and they're on top of the West. And all of a sudden, every rumor you've heard about Houston Nutt being on his way out is suddenly silent.
Right.
So I think that was probably the upset of the year, definitely the upset of that week.
Well, I'm just sorry to interrupt you, but I guess one thing about Arkansas is I'm still not sure if Arkansas is really that good or if maybe Auburn was a bit overrated, because this was the third week in a row where they struggled. They didn't blow out Buffalo. Obviously, they had a close game against South Carolina,
right,
and then they lost this game. And when you look at Arkansas, if they play somebody who can stop the run,
right,
I mean, Mitch Mustang, he's done a great job leading the team to this great start they're off to. But at the same time, he has I can't remember. It's either close or he has more interceptions than touchdowns, or
right,
he has quite a few interceptions.
Arkansas's not relying on their. I mean, they have Marcus Monk, who arguably is the second best receiver in the conference to Sidney Rice.
Right.
I mean, Marcus weighs a little more physical with his play. But they're relying on that running game of McFadden and what's the other guy's name?
Felix Jones.
Felix Jones. They're relying on that. I mean, both those guys had 100 yards in that game. And that was really what propelled them to that win. It wasn't Mustang, throwing the ball exceptionally well. I mean, the pass that Monk pushed the Auburn defensive back on was underthrown. He had to come back for it, and he ends up, breaking loose for a touchdown. So they're relying on that running game, and that's been their key, and that's going to be a problem for Carolina because running game has been kind of our weak spot. But on Auburn, we were wondering if Carolina was going to have a bit of a hangover from that game. I think Auburn had a big hangover from that game coming out of Columbia, with a narrow victory, and all of a sudden they're starting to realize, hey, maybe we're not as good as these, pollsters have bolstered us up to be, and they kind of fell down this weekend. So like I said, upset of the year.
You talk about Auburn, like Tom said, Auburn maybe it was a little bit overrated, but even so, that McFadden's first touchdown was the first rushing touchdown they had given up all year, which, I mean, it was a stat that kind of caught my eye. Arkansas, despite the trick play, which was an incredible trick play,
right?
Nobody saw that coming, and I think they flat out beat Auburn in every facet of the game, and thanks, Steven.
I don't think the rest of the country was aware that Auburn got beat Saturday.
I said in every facet of the game, not just on the scoreboard.
I apologize. That was kind of a delayed.
Anyway, I just wish I'd have got to – I was watching the Clemson-Wake game at that time, so I wish I'd have got to see more of the Arkansas-Auburn game. But from what I saw, just kind of flipping back and forth during commercials and stuff, Arkansas looked better than Auburn looked bad. So,
all right. Well, I guess the SEC just had a number of great games or great matchups, not necessarily great games in that respect. But Florida, they manhandled LSU.
Yeah, they did. Florida's starting to return to the Florida of old, not necessarily the system or the coaching style, but with Auburn's loss, they jumped to number 2 in the polls, and they took LSU. You talk about taking somebody to the woodshed. They just got beat up and down the field all day. Maybe Florida is for real this year. Maybe Urban Meyer's got something going down there in Gainesville. We'll find out in a couple weeks how good, Florida really is. Find out, when they play Georgia, which, Georgia, there's another game you got to talk about, Georgia and Tennessee.
Yeah.
I don't even think the fans that were sitting in Athens saw that one coming when, Georgia had 30 points up on the board.
It was a beautiful sight.
It was. I'll bet it was for you. But, Florida's legit. They're back to the top of the SEC East, which is as Florida fans would say, right where they want to be. It's something that they've gotten accustomed to. So that was another quality game this weekend. Didn't turn out as close as we thought. But that was another really quality game this weekend, especially if you're an SEC East fan.
Yeah, and that game was a lot closer than the scoreboard said
Right.
in the end. Like, to end up being, it was a 17-point game in the end. For a while, it was back and forth, and, like, I had no idea what was going to happen, whether Georgia was going to pull it out in the end or Tennessee was just going to keep rolling, and Tennessee did. Tennessee was impressive.
Yes, they were. I just wanted to go back to Florida for a second and talk about Tim Tebow's jump pass because I've never seen.
I don't know if
I've never seen anything.
No,
like that ever.
I hate it.
was,
you like it?
I
it
mean,
was stupid.
First time I saw it, I was like, what is he doing? It worked. Why?
It was the most okay.
Just
Good.
cock back and throw
It
the
was
ball,
the
you little girl.
stupidest, and he's. I can't. Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow is a big dude. He doesn't even be shooting
Tim
jump
Tebow's
shots over
getting
an
way
offensive
more
line.
credit than he deserves.
Well, I mean, he's going to be a good player.
He's going to be a good
but
player.
Right now, he's getting way more credit than he deserves. That's my opinion.
Do y'all not realize the point of that play, though?
No, I do not realize the point of that play whatsoever.
I'll tell you the point of the play
Here,
because
this
anybody
ought to be
who's
good.
watched
Yeah, this is
football
gonna
for
be
5
fantastic.
minutes knew the point of that play. The point of that play is when Tim Tebow came in, he had not thrown a touchdown pass up until this game, okay? The point is you line him up in the shotgun and you have him run towards the line of scrimmage like he's going to go in the end zone, run at the end zone. The defense converges towards the middle of the field on Tim Tebow running up, and right before he gets to the line of scrimmage, he leaps up and he makes the pass.
So
it's not the
that's-
prettiest thing, but the idea is to get the defense to
That
come
same concept
to the
isn't
middle.
established through like maybe a jab step towards the line and then drop back and pass like any
Not
other.
to that effect, no. Because if you watch the LSU defense on that play, everybody bid on that.
The
Everybody.
jump pass was absolutely unnecessary.
Yeah,
Any way
he
you
had
look
no
at it,
reason to jump.
it
It's
was just
stupid.
ridiculous.
Like you can't really say too much because they scored a touchdown. But
Yeah,
other than
exactly.
that,
No,
it's just absolutely stupid.
I probably despise Tim Tebow more than any other player in college football right now, because he's everyone's golden boy.
more than Joe Tereshinski.
Joe T.
Joe T.
Oh my God! But
What
no,
a joke.
Tim Tebow, he gets in there and he runs these little option
Draws
keeper,
and stuff.
quarterback keepers, whatever you want to say. And he has enormous holes. And granted, he's a hard guy to tackle, but Chris Leak is getting just as much yards as on some of those plays. They put
Yeah.
Tebow in there, and it's really unnecessary. Chris Leak ran for what, 40 yards on that?
42 yards.
Did you see Tim Tebow truck LaRon Landry an all-SEC safety? Did that not happen?
Yeah,
I did. I said sometimes he's hard to take down, but
Like-
most of the time he's
Sometimes
No.
he's hard to take down.
most
That's
of the
a
time it's the exact
225-pound
same.
fullback.
It'd be the exact same scenario if Chris Leak was in there.
Blasphemy.
No, that's the honest truth.
I knew you had garnet tinged glasses, but I'm starting to wonder about the orange and blue.
If you
Like,
honestly want to tell me that Chris Leak
I'm just saying,
gains
Hilliard,
near the
I'm
yardage
just-
running the football that Tim Tebow is, then you guys have another thing coming.
I'm saying it would be close.
I'm saying Chris Leak's a better quarterback right
Did
now.
you
at the-
did you see the
as we
specific
speak.
play against LSU that Tim Tebow ran up the middle, ran over a linebacker, spun off it, trucked LaRon Landry, who's going to be a first-round draft pick next year, and picked up 12 yards when he got hit 3 yards past the line of scrimmage? Chris Leak doesn't get 2 yards.
That's
on
a good
that play.
run. I'm glad you're
Broom
proud of him.
Broom weighed in on this matter. He said Hoover High School had something to say to Timmy Tebow last year. My boy Max laid the smackdown on him. Watching a little 2 days, I guess.
Thank you, Jake Broom.
Just want to say, what's the status of Florida's running back, the kid that was injured? What's his name?
He's like week to week.
Week to week. So, I mean, don't you need a guy like Tim Tebow to come in there when you have an injured running back to bring another dimension to the offense?
I don't know.
So why not line
Except
him up
for
at
the
running
jump-
back?
the
Why
jump
not
pass
keep
was
Chris Leak?
unnecessary.
Wouldn't that confuse defenses even more if you had Chris Leak in there at quarterback?
No,
and
it wouldn't
Tim
because
Tebow?
everybody would. I mean, I don't understand. Chris Leak can't do the things Tim Tebow can do. I'm just going to say that. I mean, Chris Leak can run, obviously, but he's not the same runner that Tim Tebow
No,
is. Like Hilliard said,
agree with
Hilliard
that.
covered it.
But Broom had another comment. He's in reference to that play that while Chris Leak doesn't get 2 yards on that run, if he's in there, they're not running the QB sneak. They're running like a 20-yard pass play or something.
People know it's coming with Tebow, but they can't stop him.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I think Tim Tebow's eventually going to deserve a lot of credit, but right now I think he's getting a lot more than he deserves. So that's just me. So,
All right. I guess the other game, of importance, I guess, to the ACC as a whole. Game of the year, Clemson at Wake.
Oh my gosh, I don't even really want to talk about it that much because Gaines Adams played an incredible game and Clemson got the win, and that's really all you can take out of that. Tommy Bowden did absolutely nothing to help Clemson because I just want to know why in the world they're throwing the ball 30 times with running backs like James Davis, C.J. Spiller, Reggie Merriweather, who's hurt right now, and I think it's DeMarcus Chancellor. 4 guys who could run for 100 yards against Wake Forest, and they decided to throw the ball 30 times. Will Proctor is an okay quarterback as long as James Davis is playing where at his level, because Will Proctor's really just not that great if he's got to carry a team. Clemson won, so that's all you can really say about it. Gaines Adams made a good play, forced 2 fumbles, got 2 sacks. And Clemson's actually still in second in the division because NC State is undefeated. So
Yeah.
I have no idea what to think of the ACC at this point. I think Clemson's got Temple on Thursday, which
I can't believe they're televising that game.
Is a joke. The spread's only 44.
Only 44.
Yeah, I don't get that. But their big matchup's going to come against Georgia Tech and then Virginia Tech in a short week on that next Thursday. So, I don't know. ACC is still way up in the air. SEC is SEC, I would say, is starting to clear itself a little bit. But then where's Arkansas? They're 2 games ahead of everybody in the West. So
The thing about the ACC is if you'd have told us all at the beginning of the season that Georgia Tech, Clemson, NC State, and Wake Forest would all be mentioned at the top of the leaderboard over the Florida States, Miamis, and Virginia Techs of the conference,
right?
We'd all slap each other in the face, and just call each other blasphemous. We still might do it. Good point, Fast now. But no, I think if there is a surprise conference this year, for all the bashing that we give the ACC, about you can never compare to the power conference of the SEC. They sure have shaken things up this year and shown that the teams that are normally consistently at the top don't always have the talent to stay at the top. Whereas Florida, Tennessee, and Georgia will never seemingly move from the top of the SEC East. This year, the divisions which have just been created are starting to shake up. I think that's a big thing for the ACC to show that they've got a balanced conference from top to bottom, even with some lesser teams in there. But I think that's been a big thing, and that was something that Wake put up a good fight against Clemson.
Yeah.
They who knows if the Wake holder falls on the ball rather than stands up and lets Gaines Adams punch it out.
That was a huge mistake.
Then you put the ball back in Clemson's offensive hands, and maybe they don't score. Maybe the momentum doesn't change. Maybe Clemson goes on to lose that game. So one little play here or there, and suddenly maybe Clemson's doesn't beat Wake Forest. Then all of a sudden you've got Wake at 6-0, and they are atop the division.
Right.
So just to have all that balance, it speaks a lot about the ACC this year.
You've been listening to Capital City Sports Talk with Matt Moore and Tom Benning. We'll be back next Tuesday from 4 to 6, where you can watch us on TV at 8 o'clock on Thursday, or thedailygamecock.com, where we'll have a streaming video of the show later on in the week. For Tom, I'm Matt. We'll be back next week.